People come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and we mustn't be too quick to judge, right? But statistical methods let us do something most people have always wanted to do: put a number to a face. Today, I'm looking at the most talked about rating of all, the 7 out of 10. Are you good looking enough to make the cut? Watch to see how you compare against our gallery of fully verified 7s. This isn't guesswork. It's based on ranked faces, side-by-side comparisons, and a proper normal distribution. If you've ever wondered where you stand, this will give you a clearer picture. Let's find out what a 7 out of 10 rating for attractiveness actually looks like. I'm using photos of 100 women and 100 men from the Chicago Face database. The photos are a bit harsh, as no makeup was allowed, and the poses are passport style. Alternative expressions to a neutral face, including smiling, were snapped in some cases. We've added animation, but these are real people. We're using mainly white people to make comparing and ranking more accurate. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, frankly, it's because of the mathematics. The methodology isn't that complicated, but no one's done it before, so here I am. One cool part of this exercise is defining what 7 out of 10 actually is. Instead of making up some random definition like everyone else, I've focused in on the normal distribution. Human characteristics like IQ and height follow this bell-shaped pattern, and it just makes sense that attractiveness would as well. What it means is that you have extreme outliers, your 1s and 10s, who are noticeably very ugly or very attractive. These are defined as the top and bottom 1%. But most people are bunched around the middle from 4 to 7. Fitting attractiveness to a normal distribution means that 76% of people are rated from 4 to 7, with 44% of men and women being a 5 or 6. A 7 out of 10 is a good-looking person who sits just outside the top 12%. They are in the percentile range from 13 to 28%. An interesting part of the 7 rating is that when asked, girls will often rate themselves 7 out of 10. It indicates they consider themselves attractive, but certainly not perfect. While this approach is understandable, just 16% of the population are actually 7s. Many so-called 7s are probably 6s or lower, in all honesty. To rate these photos, we undertook detailed side-by-side comparisons. As you might expect, identifying the best and worst looking photos was quite easy. It was much harder for the middle rankings, as the 22% of people who are a 5 are fairly similar in looks to the 22% who are a 6. Normal looking people are all on a roughly similar level and come in different shapes and proportions, so there's more guesswork when trying to rank them precisely, but I'm quite comfortable that these ratings are solid. Apart from the high 7s and low 7s, those people on the margins, members of this group would obviously look out of place if they were put in a higher or lower category. What you'll notice about a 7 out of 10 is that they're clearly attractive. Not extreme, not flawless, but unmistakably appealing. There's good facial balance, nothing oversized or out of place, and no major flaws. They look good across different angles and lighting conditions. They don't need enhancement, they just look good. That's what separates them from the levels around them. A 6 might look attractive in one context and plain in another. They're close to average, and that means the impression they give can shift depending on factors like lighting, grooming, or mood. A 7 holds steady. Compared to an 8, the difference is subtle. An 8 tends to have 1 or 2 standout features, something that draws the eye a little more. But the jump from 7 to 8 is smaller than most people think. In theory, the difference in appeal from one band to the next is about the same across the whole distribution. The real leap from a 7 is when you move up to a 9 or 10. A 9 has almost all high-level features with maybe 1 or 2 ordinary ones, and a 10 has no major weak points. Every feature is in proportion, every angle works, but that kind of perfection is rare, maybe one person in 100. So in this framework, a 7 isn't halfway to perfection, it's already firmly above average. It represents consistent, reliable attractiveness. These are the kinds of faces most people find nice and somewhat appealing, almost without debate. One thing that stands out when you compare male and female 7s is how well they often pair visually. When you place a male 7 next to a female 7, the match usually feels right. They look like they belong in the same general range. Not identical, but balanced in terms of overall appeal. This reflects what researchers call the matching hypothesis, the idea that people tend to partner with others of similar attractiveness. You can see it here. These aren't extreme outliers, just solid, good-looking individuals who seem evenly matched. Of course, not every 7 looks the same. Some lean more angular, others more soft-featured. Some might seem more striking in person, but there's still a shared level of quality that holds the group together. That's what makes this rating meaningful. Not uniformity, but consistency in how people respond to them. And when it comes to what actually makes someone attractive, especially at this level, it's not about perfection. It's not even pure symmetry. What matters more is balance. Each third of the face, forehead to eyebrows, eyebrows to nose, nose to chin, is roughly in proportion. The features align comfortably within the frame of the face. Nothing is too large, too small, or strangely placed. That's what gives 7s their visual appeal. Their faces feel cohesive, balanced. They're not striking because of any one standout trait, but because nothing is off. They don't need ideal lighting, filters, or styling. They just look right. These photos make that clearer. There's minimal makeup, simple hair, and everyone's wearing the same grey top. You don't see body shape or movement, just the face, neck, and shoulders, and in that format, men and women rated at the same level tend to look similar in overall appeal. We also looked at skin firmness and definition. Things like a soft jawline, sloping shoulders, or visible flabbiness can affect how healthy or attractive someone appears. Women often come across as more attractive in person, partly because of how they move. Research shows that feminine posture, gait, and motion can signal youth and health, traits people respond to instinctively. But in still images, those cues disappear. What you're left with is facial structure, and that's where the comparison becomes more balanced. That's why these comparisons work. And why the idea of looking like a 7 actually means something you can measure and recognize. Do you want more analysis of facial attractiveness? If this video gets enough likes, I'll do other scores. We judge faces in a fraction of a second. The brain runs hundreds of subconscious calculations. Symmetry, proportions, texture, familiarity, expression, all before we even know it. Over a third of the brain is wired for visual processing. Attractiveness feels personal, but we're all reacting to the same measurement signals. What we've done here is use those instincts to identify relative attractiveness between pairs of faces. When you place all those comparisons and data into a normal distribution, it reveals what an attractiveness score really means.